So I've been playing Warcraft for about 100 hours, and I can say I like it, but I also hate it. It's terrible, but it's also good. It's consistently inconsistent. You see, the first thing I did was play a rogue, which is a big mistake when you're first leveling out, because I had no idea how difficult the leveling process for a rogue is. You get smacked, you get hit, anything, and you're instantly dead. Oh my golly, the leveling process with no heirlooms, not knowing that you have to go into dungeons to get your loot, all of that terrible, terrifying, and trepidatious. And I did it thrice. I leveled the rogue 3 times. Once on the beginner server that I didn't tell you that they're on the beginner server, but of course you're on the beginner server. And they're like, well, no one's really here, and your trading post is going to be terrible, and there's going to be no guilds for you to join in the late game. So I was like, fine. What do I need to do? Well, you need to make a new character, and you need to make a new character in a different realm. So I made a different realm, and I was like, what realm should I make it on? I was walking around at the speed of the internet and found out that you can just Google your answer. And what Google told me was that there is such a thing as Area 51 and Stormwind? I forget the name. That's how forgettable the Alliance part of it is. Because for some reason, everyone wants to be the Horde, and only some people want to be the Alliance. So, I made both a Horde character and an Alliance rogue. But I'm already getting ahead of myself. You see, because not only did I do just the rogue again for 2 other times, one for Horde, one for Alliance, both on Area 51 and Stormwind, I also did it for every single character for every single class in the game, except for the Evoker, because I did not buy the expansion because of the subscription model was $25, $15, I forget, but it's money, and I'm like, well, I'll pay just a little bit to see what it's like. So I got my Dark Knight up to 60, I got my Rogue up to 60, I got my Warlock up to 60, I got my whatever the last one was up to 60, and then my thing ran out, and I was like, well, that would just get everyone else up to level 20. So I did that, and I had a fabulous time. It was cool to figure out what the optimal routes are, and basically, if you're a tanker, you're a healer, you just level up in the chromie time or whatever, and you're like an hour, you get to level 20. It's ridiculous, but also pretty cool. So would I recommend anyone play World of Warcraft? Maybe, maybe not. There's so many janks, so many bugs. I didn't even get to the half of the different bugs, and it's so not polished whatsoever. They've abandoned all the old content. The way that they present their story is trash, but also the way that they present their story is pretty cinematically awesome. Imagine that you're trying to go out into the world and figure out what's going on, and then you go on this big old adventure, only to find a cliff where the potholes are, and you fall down into it figuring, oh, well, maybe they'll come back in the next expansion. No, they won't. They're gone. They fell out into the pits of potholes, and they will never to be returned again, except maybe 6 months down the road when they have one pack where they're like, oh, yes, I remember Hellscream. And that's it. I don't know. But all this to tell you, I am listening to the World of Warcraft books. Some of them are good, most of them are terrible, and the world building, everything's about world building. I don't know. I feel like World of Warcraft has an excellent world building, but terrible character development. And that's my 100-hour take on World of Warcraft.